Hello and welcome to another episode of Glory of Golden State Gaming. I'm your host, SwampSwimmer, and with me, as always, the Rocky to my Bullwinkle, Vespasian.
Hey everybody, we've got a guest. A guest on the show came to say hi. You wanna wave? Lean your hi.
A little ninth age player in the making.
That's right. Hey everybody.
So, we often talk about shows we're watching. We talked about the Wheel of Time. We talked about, I don't know, a couple other ones. I picked up this show on Netflix that I'm not necessarily in love with the story, but where it's coming from. It's a show called Arcane, and it's from the studio that makes the League of Legends video game. And they made it an animated show, and it's kind of like steampunkish mixed with magic. I'm relatively interested in the story and in the world, but really what makes it awesome is the animation style is like off the charts cool. If you get a chance, just watch an episode or two, man, it's like the perfect blend between 3D animation and like hand drawn animation. I have no idea how they did it because I am not an artist, but it's freaking awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I saw that show getting some buzz on the forums and stuff like that of Ninth Age, folks being interested in it. And it's kind of on my list, but season 2 of The Witcher just came out, so I'm backlogged at this point.
I wasn't even going to bring it up, but yes, I'm in the middle of watching season 2.
Well, I had it's been 2 years, and my wife says claims she forgot basically like the entire story, so we're rewatching one, which is actually I think a good intro, so that I can kind of come back up to speed myself. But after I watched season 1, I bought the kind of one of the archetype books of it called Blood of
I think that's the
Elves
first
something
one
like that.
Yeah.
And so I read it. So now I have a little bit of a broader understanding of the world that I totally lacked when I was watching it the first time.
A long time ago, I think I read the first 2 books, one of which was Blood of Elves. Man, it was a long time ago, so I don't remember anything about it. I'm just enjoying the show. Henry Cavill is like nerd god.
Yeah. Right. I mean, he plays 40K and
he does.
Sigmar,
he
right?
does.
And, yeah.
So I can't hate on him.
That's great.
Can't hate on him. All right. Well, let's get to the battle report. Let's see here.
You are on table
2, 4th place.
Round 5.
I get paired into Brandon Cordova. He's a great player. I've never played him before. He's on your team also for NATC. And then table 1 is Skaven and AZ, who I played in a round with, who I gave him a 17, or he took a 17 from me. And he's playing Ben Kerr, who's also on your NATC team. And they are a head and shoulders above Brandon and me. But I think if there's a very small chance of me taking the whole thing. If I 20 Brandon and they get exactly an 11-9 in the way I need it, it could work. Not very good odds, but still, I was like, oh, let's see how far I can get up on the points here. But it's round 5 of Tides of War 2021 in Phoenix, Arizona. It is secure target and counter thrust. Brandon, if you're interested in my list, please go back to the round 1 video. You'll get all the information there. And it's playing demons. And he's got the big Scourge, the big Sentinel, 19 Lemures, 12 Succubi, a Hope Harvester, 2 times 3 Brazen Beasts, and then 2 Sirens, 2 units of Sirens. Very compact list. The Sentinels, I mean, the Scourge is always scary. And he's got the Sentinel, who's like, I don't know, it's a lot of strong magic, a lot of strong monsters, just not a whole lot of bodies.
Yeah.
And that Hope Harvest,
Yeah, interesting list. I mean, I think that the Brazen Beasts are their biggest issue is how flimsy they are from range, but like against a list like yours where they outrange a lot of your stuff, they'll be able to get those charges that they actually need. So I think this is a really nice matchup for those
That's
units.
exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Some of his yeah. I mean, the Scourge, I guess I think similar to the Bull, it's kind of a dicey one.
I think that's my
for your
me going into the game. I was thinking that's my only chance. I gotta put my Minnow Warlord into either one of those big guys and kill him, and that's the way I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well, he deals with the Sentinel, but the Scourge has got 7 wounds, right? So that's and distracting 4-up Aegis, which you can, well, in an upcoming game you'll see exactly how good a divine attacks against the 4-up Aegis can be. Unbelievable. Anyway, so
all right. So for my Shamanism Wizard, I take Savage Fury because he's got a lot of fear causers, and Awaken the Beast. So I'm giving up the Swarm of Insects, but I think I wanted the Savage Fury out of it.
He's got shit in his scales on the Scourge, so like if he hadn't, I think that might have moved the needle on Swarm of Insects, but that little extra makes it less impactful.
So this is counter thrust. So, and he had first drop, so he's gonna get first turn. He drops 3. I forgot which 3 he drops, but then he drops everything. And this is my answer.
Where are the tokens?
Here. And I think right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right here, far right.
Right, far right. Yeah. What was your thinking? You just
there's a giant over there. There's a giant over there, and then there's. I was thinking about delaying the right and then going straight forward toward his characters. Because his, let's talk about deployment. He's got Brazen Beasts. He's got, what's the chaff piece called? Sirens. Got the Succubi, Brazen Beasts. This is the unit of Lemures with the Sentinel in it. Behind the tower is the Scourge, Hope Harvester, Succubi, Sirens. And then for me, I've got Giant 1 on the left, Chaff. This is a Wildhorn block with the Evocation Soothsayer, my Minnow block, Gargoyle Chaff in front of these guys with another Wildhorn block with the Shamanism Soothsayer, the Great Weapon Minnow Stick on the right, and then the other giants on the far right there. I'm pretty sure he is. I could be wrong. Yeah, he is. He should be. Anyway. So he clustered together his 3 big characters. The Sentinel, the Scourge, and the Hope Harvester.
Sure.
So I was thinking of sweeping to the right. That's what I was thinking about. With my Minnow unit and this Wildhorn unit. Yeah, and we realized, as I said before, I realized I needed to push, so I was pushing pretty hard in this game. This is his turn 1. He moves the Scourge into the center of the board, and basically moves his chaff pieces forward. He doesn't do a lot of the movement. In shooting and in magic, he puts down this chaff piece to one guy, which is nice. I mean, he doesn't kill the whole unit, which is nice. And this is bottom 1, my turn. I push forward kind of a little bit on the left, and I'm a little bit scared of him charging in with the Scourge, so I hold back, which is probably a bad idea. But on the right, I push forward with this Minnow Stick to basically chaff. If these Sirens come into me, that means the Hope Harvester can't go anywhere. So I'm basically, with this chaff of the Sirens, I'm also chaffing the Hope Harvester, and then I push the giant hard into the Succubi, because the giant will take it to the Succubi.
Okay.
I get Clouded Eye on my Minnows. I get Savage Fury on these guys so they don't run away from a terror check. And then at his turn, again, he shuffles more. He doesn't do a whole lot. He moves the Sirens into the center of the board here. I think I charged these Sirens with maybe my Gargoyles or something, and they ran away in my turn. I didn't say that. But then of course, they rally in their Faint Flight guys, so they're fine. And yeah, he steps back again and continues shooting at me. And this is, I'm like skipping. This game went pretty fast, but now this is bottom of 2, where I charge the Succubi on the right. I chaff his Hope Harvester here, and with his shooting, he whittled down the Minnow stick down to 1 guy in the last turn, and then that guy I move up here to hopefully do some counter thrusts here, and I push forward in the center, and I realize I want to preserve this token. Oh, no, I don't do that. I realize I got this token wrapped up, in my opinion, because I have my ambushers coming on behind the hill back here, and they're just going to move and get that token. So this block, I do, I kind of swoop it back around the minnows here, and I imagine them coming in and supporting on the left here. So it's a little bit of a drastic move at this point, because I felt confident on this half of the board at this point.
Is that a hill that your Wild Horns are on in the middle?
No, it's just a forest.
Yeah. Forest, okay.
Oh, and also I chaff his Brazen Beasts, and I come in behind here with my other ambushing Longhorns. Both my ambushing Longhorns come on. I get Clouded Eye again on my minnows, and I get Savage Fury again on these guys. You know, the usual. On the right, my Giant one-shots that Succubi unit, which is awesome. I mean, because I'm auto-hitting, he has no armor, and I'm stomping. So I go right through that unit, which is awesome.
Makes sense, yeah.
This is his turn again, and he continues to back up. He doesn't charge on the left here. He doesn't go for my chaff piece. He turns around to face my Longhorns. And he chaffs my...
Is your Giant on the left in the flank of those Brazen Beasts, or in the rear?
I think I'm in... It's one of the two. I don't remember. I remember... Yeah.
His rear you could charge. Flank, it doesn't look like you could. Okay.
And he chaffs my minnow block with these guys here. The Sirens. He gets a fair amount of... He gets the haste in the hour, so every one of my characters takes a wound, which is annoying. And then he gets Trial by Faith, and I think he does... Like, he does the regular version, so it just kills one of... It does 2 more wounds to the unit or something. That's all with Blooded Horn up on that unit, which is... No, I got Blooded Horn, I don't have... I was thinking it was Clouded Eye.
Yeah.
So
exactly, yeah. That. Okay.
And then Hope Harvester just freaking one-shots my Giant.
Vaporizes.
Dude, those...
Yeah. If it doesn't have to move, and it's in, and if it's in close range, that thing actually hits. It's very rare, but that
yeah, I was very surprised about how strong this Hope Harvester was. So there goes my Giant.
Problem is, most of the time it's hitting on 6s, so it's 5s or 6s, so it's not very reliable. But when it doesn't have to move and it's close.
So nice. In my turn on the left here, I take the double charge, and I think the Giant was in the flank and couldn't charge. Also, I wanted to, but I couldn't. But I still felt good about this whole unit into them because I'm swinging first everywhere.
And so much of what they do is devastating charge related, so it should be.
I move the Giant to the right to, again, this is another, I'm chaffing the Sirens, which are then chaffing the Succubi. That's why I put the Giant there. I put the Minotaurs into the chaff. And with that giant dying, I don't feel good about the right again, so I turn this unit back around and move it to the right. Very indecisive of me, but is what it is. Is what I did. I get Awaken the Beast on my minnow unit because I know I'm taking a charge in a minute. And I get Spectral Blades off on this Wildhorn unit. Why did I do that? I was afraid about him bringing anything into this unit here.
Yeah, the Scourge and Brazen double charges would be, I think, a little rough on that unit. Yep.
And then shockingly, this combat over here, I only do 3 wounds. And he wins combat and runs down my gargoyles. Oof. Yeah, I kind of gambled a little heavily on both of my far flanks, and both of them didn't pay off because the giant died to the shooting, and then this happened, and I was like, oh, I wasn't feeling good now. I was really not feeling good at this point in the game. And then Minotaurs kill that chaff. I turned to face. He had, I don't know, medium charges with all 3 units, and he was really hesitating. He was thinking hard about charging or not charging my Minotaurs, and I told him, like, I'm like, if you take this triple charge, like, I'm done. And he eventually did it, and as you can expect, I chaff here. He gets Cleansing Fire. I don't know what happens here. Basically, he blows through my minnow unit, which causes the Wildhorn block to panic, which then puts him in the charge arc of this unit, of the Brazen Beast, and it just all collapses for there. I realize at this point I'm not going to win the tournament. It was still a good game, and I think Brandon and I just shook hands at this point, and we're like, it was fun. It was a really cagey game up until now because I thought I was winning the flanks, and then those two fell apart, and then kind of this fell apart in the center. And he played his chaff really well, and I think the key to this game is he out-chaffed me. He used his chaff better than I use my chaff. And of course, he took the 20.
Yeah. Okay.
But
and he ended up getting 3rd
yes,
place,
he did.
if I recall correctly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was using this lone gargoyle who was left to chaff this guy, and really he should have been over here chaffing one of these 3 pieces. So I think the middle block could maybe take 2 out of the 3 of those, but they can't take all 3.
Yeah. The guiding mirrored scales against something that has the volume of damage output as the minnow block does is actually like pretty threatening, right? Because they can't take a punch back. So yeah, that's an interesting one, man. Shame. It did look like you were in fairly good shape. I do think the waffling with that Wildhorn block on the right, once the succubi are down, if your Wildhorn block is like up and kind of turned slightly inward, but just to the right of that crater, in the turn instead of having been turned around, then you don't need to chaff that Hope Harvester because you can just one-shot it with the Wildhorn block, right? And then that gargoyle can be saved for later, like you said, and you dominated the right. Yeah, it's tough. You had that Mino champion standing there.
I remember
chaffing too. You could have chaffed.
That was my intention, but I just couldn't get him far enough to actually chaff anything. I misplayed him where he was. Yeah, I just 100% in this game, his chaff outdid my chaff, and I played my chaff wrong, and I'm kicking myself. If I would have chaffed, for instance, the block with the Sentinel in it, and he had come in with the well, actually, he told me if I had chaffed him, he wouldn't have come in. He was afraid of coming in even with 3. So I think if I had chaffed him, he just would have stepped back again. But who knows what happened after.
The funny thing is the way that he's playing this battle, if you had had those wild horns up a little bit further, he's basically giving you the objective. So it's a, you know, you could have played, but admittedly you were going for a 20, right? Because that was what gave you your shot at winning the whole thing. So I guess, but I mean, this could have been at this point, if you played the right slightly differently, this could have looks like it could have been a pretty safe, like medium plus win for you. Assuming he doesn't snipe off the Mino characters and grab a whole bunch of points like in turn 6, which is feasible, right? But yeah, interesting. Okay, well, good game, good opponent. I've played Brandon before, and
he's a great opponent too. It's the first time I've played him. I've like known him for a long time, but I've never had an opportunity to play him, and it was awesome. But anyway,
yeah, good.
That is Tides of War 2021 in the books. I ended up with like just over average. It's where I end up every tournament, like 50 to 60 points every time. Like just over average.
3-2, winning average.
But it was fun.
It's tough. The big wins make it really hard to rack it up, you know. The big losses rather.
But thank you, Skaven and AZ, for running it. Or he didn't run it. Freaking Tim Adair ran it. But Skaven AZ, he owes me a shirt bet now, and he's been thinking about what shirt he's gonna make me wear. So, hey, if you're still watching, please like and subscribe. And if whatever, have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody.